What up, y'all? It's bringingthereal.com. It's your host, Motto, and we're here with
Do It All from that legendary hip-hop group, Lords of the Underground. No, excuse me, Councilman Dupre Kelly of the West Ward of Newark, New Jersey.
So what are you more proud of, being a councilman or being an MC?
I'm proud of hip-hop. You know, I am unapologetic a hip-hop artist as an elected official.
So what made you go from making music to getting into politics?
Well, I think it was just hand in hand, you know. I've been helping the community before I was a hip-hop artist, you know, so I think it's hand in hand. You know, I didn't go from one to the other. If anything, I went one to the other. I went from being a community servant to a hip-hop artist, you know, but I got more popular as a hip-hop artist, and then when I went back into community service and the public service sector, people said, oh, how does it feel from going from a hip-hop artist to a public servant? But I was a public servant before I was a hip-hop artist.
Yeah, a lot of young cats don't know that. Like when hip-hop was first started, you had to be both. You had to be a rapper, and you had to be in the community pushing the message, you know what I'm saying? Hip-hop was a way of getting out from your, whatever situation you was in.
Right.
Do you still think that resonates to this day, or do you think it has changed?
I think it resonates to this day. It's just not being promoted or marketed. You know, a lot of the negativity gets more attention than the people who are doing great things in the community. If I was to post something right now that was nice, that was respectful, that was a good thing on social media, it will get less views than I would if I was to post something negative on social media. So, you know, the shock value, the negativity, those things get more response and views than something that you're doing that is positive.
Word. And you're a councilman, you can't really put anything out negative, you know what I'm saying? Because you got to be an example to the youth, you got to be an example to your co-workers, people who put you in that position. Because sometimes people may feel like KRS once said one time in the interview, he was like, sometimes you got to cause a ruckus, shoot a gun up in the air, blah, 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 and if everybody shows up, then you start spitting knowledge, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. I just think that too, causing a ruckus is good to get the attention, to galvanize the people. But once you get them there, what's your message? What are you talking about? What are you feeding them? What are you pouring into them? And that's what it's about. It's about causing, galvanizing the people. But once you get the people, it's like my uncle always say, you can catch, but can you keep?
I feel like Tupac did that, you know what I'm saying? Like, he may have did a lot of wrong things, but in the end, when he got the attention, he poured out the knowledge, you know what I'm saying? So he was a good example of that. But how was it back in the day being Lords of the Underground, being on the scene, and just being a straight, pure MC back in the day?
I mean, it was amazing. It changed my life. Hip-hop changed my world. And that's what I try to tell our elders, our ancestors. Please don't be afraid of hip-hop. I am what hip-hop looks like grown up. I am the first platinum-selling hip-hop artist to ever win an elected official seat in the United States of America. And shout out to Shine Barrow, who won the leader of the opposition party, in Belize City. He's the first in the world. I'm the first in the United States of America, and I salute him because him and I are examples of people pivoting, right? And being able to take hip-hop into different households, into different communities, and to utilizing it as a platform that actually helps and fosters change in our society.
So before you go, I just want your opinion on 24 Hours of Peace. You know what I'm saying? I know it's a dope event put on by the help of you guys and Queen Latifah. Like, what does that do for the city and what does that do for hip-hop, that event?
Well, shout out to Hakeem Green, Amiri Baraka, because they're the co-founders of 24 Hours of Peace. It's about utilizing hip-hop as a platform to foster change in our communities. And it fosters change through something that the youth love, through something that the individuals love. If you think about hip-hop, right? If you think about the word hip, that is being in the now, being in the knowing. You think about hop, hip-hop, you think about hop, that is a form of movement. So hip-hop, being in the now movement, So hip hop is really the now movement. So what is your now movement? What are you trying to change? What are you trying to foster growth and elevate? And hip hop can help you do that. It can help you do that because the now movement is synonymous with the youth movement. So if that's the case, if that's the case, we utilize hip hop to foster change in our communities. So I am what hip hop looks like grown up. I am what hip hop looks like as a councilman. Shout out to our great mayor, Rajay Baraka. Shout out to our great city of Newark, New Jersey. We utilize the pop culture, which is now hip hop, to foster change in our community.
Yo, man, appreciate your time.
Thank you, brother.
I appreciate you being here, watching all the artists, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to do that, but you're doing it, and you keep it hip-hop all the time. And you know what? I mostly appreciate you being a councilman and putting your voice out there, helping the people, man.
Thank you, brother.
So, yo, have a good night, man.
Yes, sir.
BringingTheRoad.com, we out.